Hey everyone, it is the Charming Giraffe, and today we are going to do a resin art piece. This is a chessboard, and I've got the chess pieces set to the side. I've used this board and chess pieces one time before, but it was on a live video, and so I was working really fast, so it didn't turn out exactly perfectly like I wanted it to. So I wanted to do a regular video on it so I could really take my time to try to see how perfect I can get it. We are using Mixed Media Girl Artist Resin. This is mixed to a 1-to-1 ratio, so 50-50. I've got my Pixis cup with the measurements, and I don't know how much this holds, but here's how it works essentially. You can't really see them very well in the camera, but there's the squares here, and it's very shallow. Like, they're not very well defined as far as the mold is concerned, so you can only put a little bitty bit in each square. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit and then use a stick to kind of push it around. I'm gonna go really slow for this. The colorants we're using is just glitter. I've got the Let's Resin Chunky Glitter, red and blue, and that's what that looks like. And then this will be done in 2 layers, so we'll do all the squares, and then tomorrow I'll do the back, which I'm gonna use a white color for the backing, because the glitter will be clear, so the white will come through and really make the glitter pop. And then for the chess pieces, I'm going to do it in 2 layers as well. We're going to put a glitter layer in and then a white layer in. So hopefully that'll all turn out really awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything mixed and get started. I'll just speed you up through this process because it is going to take quite a while because I'm going to really take my time on it.
Have the budget for that, don't have that Hollywood cash, have to film on our iPhones, we don't need a script in our hands, we don't need a punchline to live, write the story as we go, we're living in an indie film, no budget but emotion. Someone who's looking for love in the night. Ain't that right? Caught your eyes in the rearview mirror. You caught me smiling and struggling to steer. This ain't right. It's just my type, but we don't have the budget for that.
Okay, so we've got the first layer of our chessboard done with the squares with the glitter, so now we're going to do our first set of chess pieces. This mold only comes with 16 chess piece molds, so you have to do the set twice so that you have one for each player. I don't know exactly how much these hold, so I think I'm going to mix up probably about the same, about 4 ounces. If I need to mix up more, I can. Not a big deal. I'd rather do that than have too much. So I'll do 50-50, still using the Mixed Media Girl Artist Resin. And since I'm doing it's gonna be like a red, white, and blue theme, I don't think I said that earlier, but I did the red and white, I did the red and blue glitter in the mold for the squares. So I'm gonna start with the blue chess pieces. I don't have a lot of red options, so I'll have to get creative to do those. But we'll get started with what I've got. So I've got the 2 parts of resin in my cup, so I'm going to go ahead and stir that. Okay, so I've got the resin with the color mixed in, so I'm just going to start with one. I'm going to fill it up about halfway to begin. If you go a little bit under, a little bit over that, it's not going to make a difference. This is just the way I do it. but the key to getting all of the air bubbles out is you have to just pinch the bottom of the silicone mold. And I really don't think you could do this too much. The first set that I did, I had 4 that did not come out properly. I'll show you when I get to one of them. The top and the bottoms weren't connected at all. There was an air bubble in it, so it came out in 2 pieces from the mold. And then once you do all the pinching, then go ahead and fill it up. You don't want to fill this up all the way first, because then when you pinch it, it'll overflow. So then once you have done that, then just set it to the side somewhere safe and move on to the next one. I'll do one of the ones. So these are the pawns, and it's got like this ball at the top and then a ring, and then it kind of like funnels out from there. So there was a air bubble like in the ball here, and so it wasn't actually connected to the rest of the pawn piece. So it came out with this section and then the ball section. So the first time I did it, I had 4 of those that came out like that. The second time I only had 1. So I definitely had learned how to do it better, and it worked really well a lot better the second time. So hopefully this 3rd and 4th time for this set will be flawless. And you can see those bubbles coming up. That means that it's working. Another thing is these are kind of frosted, so if you, see if I can show you. Probably not gonna see it too well on the camera, but you'll be able to see like if there's a section of the mold that doesn't have resin touching it. And if that's the case, then just keep pinching. You can't pinch this too much. I would much rather spend a little bit extra time doing that than not, and then having to either redo a piece or fix it after the fact. And then they do have like these little X here to help stabilize them, but definitely make sure they're somewhere safe, because they can easily fall over. It's really fun doing this pinching part, and it's super important. Or maybe just keep pinching until you don't see those air bubbles come up anymore. That might be another kind of way to tell. I'll do a couple of these and then I'll speed it up through the rest of the process, just because this does take a while, because you want to make sure you get all the air bubbles out, and there's 16 of them, so just in quantity that will take a while. I can definitely say from my prior experiences, they're not the easiest thing to demold, but they're pretty cool when they do come out. So if you like chess, or you have a friend or family member that you want to make a chess set for, I would definitely say this is worth it. I would also definitely say don't expect your first one to be flawless, because mine was far from it. Far, far from it. So and then just get that filled up. The extra that you see here, it will cure on there, but typically you can just peel it off pretty easily. I don't worry too much about that. We'll do one more here. And it was only the pawns that I had issues with, so maybe spend a little bit more time on those molds specifically. All the others, king, the queen, the rook, the knight. Is there another one I'm missing? King, queen, rook, knight. If there's another one, then that one. All the others came out absolutely perfectly. So it was really the pawns that were the troublemakers. I'm also going to guess that this is not going to be enough resin, so I'll have to mix some more up too. But I will speed you up through the rest of this process, and we will come back to do the second layer of the chess board, and then the second set of these in just a little bit.
Don't have that Hollywood cash. Have to film on her iPhone. You told me the script in her hand. You don't need a punchline in there. Like the story as we go.
back. We've got the base layer of the chessboard done, and all of these pieces are done. We'll come back into these pieces in a little bit. But I went ahead and pre-mixed the resin, same resin we've been using. And I've got a 16-ounce cup here. Again, I don't know the exact measurements. I think it does take more than 16 ounces, so we might have to do this more than once. I mixed up 24 ounces just to be safe. So I'm gonna go ahead and just fill this cup up pretty far, because I know it's gonna take at least this much. And then I wanna do white on the base, so I'm gonna use quite a bit of the Alumilite white resin dye, because I want this to be pretty opaque. But I also don't want it to just be white, so I'm gonna put a little bit of mica powder in here. I got this off of Amazon. I don't know the exact brand, but I'll link it in the description. I've got a little stick here, and it is a lot of resin, so I can add a little bit more than what you would normally add. And then, I don't know if this will really show up, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to add some of the Diamond Dust by Polycolor. Since it'll be so opaque, I'm not sure it'll do much, but I'm gonna go ahead and add it because I think it'll be pretty. Then we'll stir this in and then pour it into our mold. All right, so I think I'm happy with this color. It's not as shimmery as I would like it, but I think it'll be okay. So I'm just gonna pour it pretty much just in the middle and let it spread out on its own. Like I said, I'm pretty positive I'm gonna need more than the 16 ounces here. With that, I will spray it with the 91% isopropyl alcohol, move it to a safe drying area, and then we'll be back to do the second set of chess pieces. We'll be back in a minute. All right, we are back to demold all of the first set of chess pieces. I'll do a few on regular speed, but then this is quite the process, so I will probably speed you up through most of it. The first thing I did notice is in some of these, there was more air bubbles that came to the top that I didn't get popped with the isopropyl alcohol before they cured, but they're on the bottom, so when you're playing, you're really not gonna see them, so I'm not gonna worry too much about that. But then there's not really many tricks that I have found so far to demolding these. These little pieces just peel off just like it peel off dominoes and anything else you have that you demold. If you let it cure too long, then it might be a little bit harder to peel off, but those pieces are typically pretty easy. But then you just have to work at these to get this off. I don't recommend, I'll show you. Oh, that worked pretty well. And it's all in one piece, so that's good. I don't recommend like pulling on these because they will come off. One of them has it. Let's see if we can find it. This one. So you can see he's missing a leg, so you don't want to do that. These are the ones, the pawns, that had the most problems with in the last time I did this set, so let's see how well these came out. So far so good. I do recommend as soon as you get it demolded to go ahead and push these back in the proper way, so you try not to get so much of this little flaky resin pieces in there, because it may like impact the next time you use the mold. So go ahead and do that. I also like to store my molds upside down. This is just a personal preference so that other dust and stuff doesn't get into it. Dirt, debris, other little resin flyaways like this. So yeah, let's do a few more pawns, and maybe I'll do a harder one. That worked really well. happy about that. Haven't found a great way to get all this resin to stay off of my fingers through this process, because when you're filling the molds, you're going to like touch the outside, so you're going to get all of this from the outside. So maybe if you cleaned them beforehand, like before demolding, that might help. The king and queen are two of the hardest that I found to demold, because there's so many extra little lips here to try to get the mold off, like the mold off of the resin piece. And then they're also hard to like put back the other way. This might take a minute. Let me know if you have any tips for that. That actually went a lot better than I anticipated. It's all in one piece, but there are a few air bubbles that I didn't get out, but I'm not worried about it. And then sometimes it can be tricky getting these pushed back the other way. So I kind of like to kaleidoscope it in, and then I use my finger to kind of pop them back out. This is where I kind of got that one piece broke as I was like pulling on it to pull it out, so don't do that. Let's see, I'll do a few more pawns and then I'll speed it up. These are pretty easy to demold in general, the pawns, because they're all kind of like one shape. They kind of like funnel to the bottom. But they were the ones that I had the most trouble with as far as filling the mold up properly. Where are the rest of the pawns? So far so good though. That's 4, I think, yeah. Nice, perfect. And while it is inside out, go ahead and grab any of the little flakes of resin that you can off of there. So far, I haven't had any issues with any flakes showing up in the outside of the piece, so I don't know if they kind of just float to the middle, so you can't see them, or if I've just done a really good job of cleaning them. I don't think that's the answer. But I haven't had any issues with it, so if it's something you're concerned about, I wouldn't unless you have a problem with it. Again, all one piece. There are a few air bubbles, but overall still looks really good. I will go ahead and speed you up through the rest of this process though. Alright, so I got them all demolded here, so I just want to do a quick close-up on all of them. You can see some of them might have a few little air bubbles like that, but they are all solid pieces, so can definitely be used to play the game. Let me just see if I can show you. 1 second. Like, there's one on the edge there, or actually there's one at the top of the screen now, an air bubble. Here's one. Probably get a better view of this one. So, come on, focus. There we go. So that's what the bottom looks like. I'm not gonna worry about it. It's on the bottom. No one's gonna see it. That's not the important part when playing. But yeah, all these little balls here on top of the pawns stayed on this time, so I did a lot better than I had the first 2 times. So in just a minute I'll get set up and we'll do the red set. Alright, we are back to do the final set of chess pieces, and so I made this custom red color here using this red pigment dye, resin dye, some red mica powder. This is cherry red. I put a little diamond dust and crater light blue because I wanted to get a deeper color. It was a little too like bright red for me, so I wanted it to be a little bit more deeper red to match the deeper blue chess pieces that we have for the other set. And then I made the mistake of putting the tiniest of drops. I even like put half a drop on a stick and then stirred that stick in. It turned it more purple than I would have liked, so I had to add more red to it. Adding blue to the reds make it like a darker, deeper color. You don't want to add like black or anything to it, it'll just take over. But this is extremely pigmented, so for as tiny of a drop that I did, it definitely changed it. But I got it back to a color that I'm happy with, so we'll see how these turn out. If they turn out too purple, then we'll do another set, not a big deal. So I'll speed you up through this process because you already watched me fill the first set, so you don't need a full-on tutorial for that. So you'll just see me doing this at really fast speed, and then we'll come back to show all of it demolded. Alright, so we're back for the final part where I demold the chessboard and show you how all the chess pieces turned out. I demolded all the red ones off camera just because I figured you've already seen me demold one set, you didn't need to see both, and that's just extra time. So we'll get started with this. So satisfying. Here's how the chessboard turned out. Look at that glitter. This glitter is from Just Resin, and it is so sparkly. Highly recommend it. It did like void a little bit there. I just didn't have enough resin in this square, so the background is showing through, but it's okay. I'm not worried about it. You can still definitely tell what piece or what checkered part that's supposed to be. I could just do this and stare at this all day long. Alright. It still needs to lay flat to finish curing, but now we'll show the chess pieces. See if I can get 2 of the same one. So I've got the blue and the red. The red kind of came out a little bit darker than I wanted. I might do another set for this and save this for a different chess set, but they all came out just fine. I didn't have any issues demolding them, and they all came out in one piece, so that is a good thing. Yeah, I'll get the chessboard set up and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so here we are. I think it turned out pretty cool. I am very happy with it. Let me know what you think of this resin chess set in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and it makes you happy.